Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation service that Yahweh has enjoined unto us. It is a wonderful thing during these days and times to be able to receive Yahweh's word, because there are a lot of people, whether it be rich in natural education, but they do not have that spiritual discernment to be able to read this book and understand what thus saith Yahweh. And we know that we are entering those times. We've talked about in our past sermon about the tribulation that the saints would have to endure, and really just dealing with this word. But we're entering a time where we're about to step up on another level as far as there's people that don't accept this word, and basically we bring that word to people and they don't accept it. Fine. Well, we're entering a time where the people that don't accept this word are going to get to the point where they're going to attack you because of that word. See, now we finna get that real weeding out of the wheat and the tares. Now we're going to get ready to see who's going to truly serve Yahweh, and it's through that persecution that he's going to decide, and he's going to prove to man who serves him and who doesn't serve him. See, because man is going to say, it's so unfair. Why would Yahweh, throw me in this lake of fire? I've been keeping the Sabbath day for 10 years. No, you've been showing up on the Sabbath day for 10 years. You have not kept the Sabbath yet. So Yahweh is going to allow that persecution so he can prove to man. So man can be shown without the shadow of a doubt what's truly in his heart. So he'll understand that judgment that comes upon him when Yahweh does enact that judgment. Because man is definitely going to say it's unfair. I did all these things. So Yahweh's going to let that persecution come upon you so he can prove where your heart is. Some people, the more they're persecuted, the further they get away from dealing in Yahweh's word. Other people, the more they're persecuted, the closer they come to Yahweh's word. Yahweh is in a point of proving what is his. When we went to reading about the 300 and how he brought all these people down here to this valley and told them, go down and drink this water. And he separated men according to how they drunk that water. And he said, these are the ones that are chosen to go and fight for me. Well, Yahweh is seeing how we deal with situations. And he's separating men, whether we know it or not. He is separating men according to how you deal with these situations and circumstances. So those little things that you think are just things that pop up in your life, you are going through an interview process and you don't see Yahweh, but the boss sees everything. And he is weeding out who he's going to allow to fight for his holy name's sake. He will not fight with a tarnished weapon. Understand that. He will not fight with a weapon that has not been proven. We are going to have to be proven in battle. And he's going to use this agenda of the Antichrist to do that. Indeed, him that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And we do invite the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may read out of this great legacy that Yahweh has left unto us and truly grow spiritually thereby. Now, as we await the appearance of the Antichrist to mark the beginning of sorrows, we oftentimes forget that there are many Antichrists. These smaller Antichrists, although less powerful, show the same disdain for Christ and for his word as their leaders. We must remember that Yahshua was hated for his word. The power of this word was so great that it caused priests to plan, plot, and execute a scheme to remove him from the face of this earth. The same word that he spoke is the same word that we speak. So we must begin to spiritually prepare ourselves for the upcoming attacks by these antichrists. We must learn how to spot these antichrists, for they come from all walks of life, and some are even priests and call themselves Hebrew Israelites. The Antichrist agenda of persecution against the saints is a coordinated attack that we must prepare for. Let's open up in 1 John and chapter 2. Start that at verse 1. Now, in dealing with these things, we must consider that the life of these prophets. It was a very lonely life of those prophets to be given this word and to have understanding of this word. And nobody around them had that understanding. So everywhere they went, when they spoke this word, people were trying to harm them. They're standing outside the temple. We're talking, Yahweh has given these brothers a divine message for them to speak to the children of Israel. These are preachers without congregations, okay? They have to go stand in front of the temple, wait for these people to come out and say all of the things that Yahweh has prophesied unto him to prophesy to Israel. Now, this is not a glorious job. And what no Cadillacs here. Wasn't no money being involved. Understand, these brothers were workers of Yahweh without any prestige. They hated the prophets. They were trying to inflict bodily harm on these dudes because they were really upset about the message that these brothers brought. This was a lonely life. Well, consider what it is we do during these days and times. It's a very small remnant of us that understand these words that Yahshua has left unto us, that Yahweh has left all throughout this book. And as we start to put that word out, it's getting to a point where the people won't just disagree with you. It's going to be a point where it is going to really spark up some situations, and Yahweh is going to allow it, because in that is the separation between the sons of man and the sons of Elohim. Yahweh is causing that separation. And before we get in it, I do want you to keep something in mind. Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 18, it says, "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow." It's one of those things that they said, ignorance is bliss. The ignorant are outside having a great, grand old time. They are enjoying themselves. They are enjoying life, not knowing that they are this close to destruction. See, the increase of knowledge increases sorrow because you understand what's coming. They don't know what's coming, and they just as happy. They already planning the next den of iniquity meeting they're going to go to. They said, we went to this den of iniquity last week, and we're going to go to the next den of it. They got it all planned out. They already know what they're going to wear. Right. Right. Go ahead, bro.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 1. "My little children, these things write I unto you, that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahshua the Mashiach, the righteous. And he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments."
And we know that very few people keep these commandments as it is written here. People are especially what is pushed out by these so-called televangelists. They have moved tithing above all other laws in the book. Matter of fact, they have even bewitched our people that tithing is not even a law. But they make them feel like they have to do it, but at the same time have tricked them into believing that it's not a law. They said, well, you have to take care of the congregation. Right. But you didn't just decide that out of your own mind. There was a law written for that. So they have exalted that law and pushed down all other laws that have anything to do with morality or righteousness. Go ahead.
Verse 4. "He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandment, is a liar, and the truth is not in him."
Consider how many liars there are. Consider. We just watch YouTube videos with 10,000 liars in a room screaming as their pastor was carried around in a chair. He says, if you don't keep these commandments, you are a liar. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't care if that's your mama, your auntie, your cousin, your daddy. They're liars. And Yahweh say, I hate liars. Go ahead.
"But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of Elohim perfected."
Right. You can't have perfect love without dealing with Yahweh's word. You can have whatever that is you think you got, but you don't have perfected love. And trust me, there are many Hebrew Israelites that don't have anything close to perfected love. They don't have love, much less perfected love. Go ahead.
Hereby know we that we are in him. Verse 6. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also to walk, even as he walked.
Right. And we know that Messiah kept the Sabbath day. But they say we love him, but they ain't never keeping the Sabbath day. Right. Go ahead.
Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which you have heard from the beginning. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past, and the true light now shineth. He that saith he is in the light, and hateth his brother, is in darkness even until now. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him.
Right, because that hatred of the brother is that same darkness that was in the beginning during the Cain and Abel situation. There was hatred for his brother, and that made that darkness come through, and there was no light in him. And that same darkness is still in man's heart today. Men will hate you for absolutely no reason at all. Absolutely no reason for hating you. And they hate you. You've done absolutely nothing to them, but they hate you. Right. Go ahead, brother.
I just wanted to comment on that. We don't stumble in light. You stumble in the dark when you can't see where you're going because you're just doing whatever. You know, so that's a good metaphor right there for the light, and not having the light in you, which is the word, is going to cause you to stumble in life because you don't have no light, no lamp unto your feet, which is the word.
And hatred keeps you in darkness.
Right.
See? Hatred keeps you in darkness. You can't see what you're doing. That's how you end up falling in that hole that you dug for somebody. Right. Because you was in darkness. You just dig in that hole, have no idea you're finna fall right in that same hole. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 11. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. I write unto you, little children, because your sins are forgiven you for his name's sake. I write unto you, fathers, because you have known him that is from the beginning. I write unto you, young men, because you have overcame the wicked one. I write unto you, little children, because you have known the Father. I have written unto you, fathers, because you have known him that is from the beginning. I have written unto you, young men, because you are strong, and the word of Elohim abideth in you, and you have overcame the wicked one. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So he's drawing another line here. He's drawing a line between those that truly love him and those that truly love the things of the world. So we have to those situations and circumstances that we encounter are to pull us further and further back from the establishment of the world. But the people saying, man, these people crazy. These people are not dealing with these established things that we deal with on a regular. What's wrong with those people? Right. They're getting closer and closer to Yahweh, so they're getting further and further and further away from the establishment of man. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doth the will of Elohim abideth forever. Little children, it is the last time. And as you have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us.
Right. Judas was not of the disciples. If he had been one of the disciples, he would have continued being a disciple. But he wasn't one of them. And it was made, he had to go out from them so that it could be manifested that he was not one of them. Go ahead.
Verse 20. But you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. I have not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Who is a liar but he that denieth that Yahshua is the Mashiach? He is Antichrist, that denieth the Father and the Son.
And we deny the Father and the Son with our actions. We deny the Father and the Son with the things that we do. See? Go ahead.
Whosoever denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father. But he that acknowledgeth the Son hath the Father also. Let that therefore abide in you, which you have heard from the beginning. If that which you have heard from the beginning shall remain in you, you also shall continue in the Son and in the Father. And this is the promise that he hath promised us, even eternal life. These things have I written unto you concerning them that seduce you. But the anointing which you have received of him abideth in you, and you need not that any man teach you. But as the same anointing teacheth you of all things, and is truth, and is no lie, and even as it hath taught you, you shall abide in him. Verse 28. And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, he may have confidence, and not be ashamed before him at his coming. If you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone that doeth righteousness is born of him.
All right, go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 25. Now we're talking about these antichrists, and these we know about the abomination of desolation, but what we have to get ready for is their leaders are preparing them and getting them ready to push toward us. We have major advertisements coming from whole church organizations, and those people are about to really push forth their agenda. We know that this word was given to Israel. It was Israelites that brought that word to these Gentiles. Those Gentiles in turn killed off all of those apostles, killed off all of our doctrine, and put forth their own doctrine, to where now people believe that going to church on Sunday is the thing that's supposed to happen. But that what we're dealing with is the original doctrine versus the doctrine of the Gentiles that they have implemented and pushed forward. But people tend to deal with what they hear the most. And because those Gentiles have have millions and millions of dollars behind their marketing campaigns, they have the ability to spread that lie. For every time you can tell the truth, they can tell that lie 100,000 times. So every time you tell one piece of truth, they tell 100,000 lies. Here you go. So now you're going to do something. You say, well, I'm going to tell 4 pieces of truth. They just told 400,000 lies. Every time they can outlie your truth. They can put commercials on. I mean, their commercials got effects and bombs and all kind of stuff going off in it to make people feel all warm and cozy. Right. You can't out-truth they lie. You just have to speak your truth, and those that Yahweh allow to hear it, those are the people that are going to hear it. Point blank. You are not going to out-talk them. They have the control over the mass media, and the masses of people will not be able to deal with this truth anyway. And everybody that you talk to in this word are not supposed to hear this word. Some people you're talking to that so that they may accept the word. Other people you're giving them the word so that they may be chargeable and have something on their account. Go ahead, bro.
I think maybe that's why maybe Yeshua had started the preparation with his apostles for the children of Israel in chapter 10, when verse 5, when he's talking about don't go to the Gentiles and Samaritans, but only go to the lost tribe, the sheep of Israel. Mm-hmm. And he told them, this is what I want you to do. And then later, he opened the door with Saul and with Peter to go to the Gentiles and spread this information. Right. Because his preparation for the kingdom had to be for the lost tribe, the Jews first.
Right. It had to be done decent and in order first. And the whole part of that had to be what it says, that he does not take care of his own is an infidel. You can't go and have hungry people in your house and you walk past them and go feed the neighbors. Here you go. I want to be generous. Hey, we take some bread. Man, there's hungry people in your house. You just went past them little hungry children in your house and went and fed the people next door? No. You feed the people in your house. When they get through eating, then you go to the neighbors. Hey, man, y'all hungry over here? Yeah, here goes some bread. What you gonna do, snatch the food? Why you think he said, when that woman was asking, he said, it's not meet for me to take the food of the saints and cast it to dogs. See, the Gentiles were without law. He wasn't just calling them a dog just to call them a dog. He was calling them a lawless animal. It's not meat for me to take that food. I got to feed them first. After they eat, then you can eat. But her faith was so strong, she said, but don't the dogs eat from the food that fall from the master's table? You know what, woman, I'm going to go ahead and hear. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that business. Because your faith is that strong, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this. But this is out in the ordinary. I don't normally do this. But I'm going to go ahead and take care of you. But on a general speaking term, I'm going to take care of my people first, then I'm going to take care of the Gentiles. And that's the same thing. That is consistent with what Saul dealt with. He said, tribulation and anguish to the Jew first, and then the Gentile. Then he said, glory and honor also to the Jew first, and then to the Gentile. Good things to the Jew first, and bad things to the Jew first. So they sitting up there having a good time right now. They saying, oh, boy, them black people over there, they poor and they doing such and such. Oh, just hold on there, Mr. Bob Dabalina, your turn coming. Just hold what you got, your turn coming. See, to the Jew first, but your turn coming. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 10, verses 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servants as his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?
Right. If they didn't call him the master, the lord of flies, they didn't call him a demon, they gonna call you a demon too. They gonna say, Satan leading you. What? Right. And consider who said this. Those were priests that said that about him. It's going to be priests that say it about you. Read.
Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known.
Yahweh going to expose their skirt. See? They've been hiding a tail under their skirt for all this time. Yahweh going to yank that skirt up and there go your tail. Right. He going to show everybody that tail. They think they hiding that tail. But Yahweh gonna make a good wind come through and he gonna blow that skirt right up. Go ahead.
What I tell you in darkness, that speak you in light. And what you hear in the air, that preach you up on the housetops.
But that's gonna get you tribulation. See? Because everybody don't want to hear the truth. Don't nan time get it twisted. Everybody don't want to hear the truth. Matter of fact, people want to not hear the truth so they can believe that they're going to be protected under the veil of ignorance. Well, I didn't know. That's what we watch situations where people were attacking people in the word and people who were so-called in positions that were supposed to help. They sat back and said, well, I didn't know. Right. Claiming the veil of ignorance as a protection. No, not gonna work. Go ahead, bro.
No, I just wanted to say how man has become so corrupted that they have laws against you speaking even the truth. You know, the hate crime act.
Right.
You know, so it's deep, man.
Right. And I mean, the laws are so vague, they can apply that whatever way they want to apply it. Whatever way they want to apply that, they can apply it and cause you some serious harm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
One thing that kind of frightens me is that, as you just said, Yahweh was going to shorten their skirts. But yet, as we seen, brother being lifted up in the chair, okay, with turban on, right? And next thing you know, that same brother beforehand was just paying out a whole lot of money from messing around with little boys. But yet he's a pastor in a church and all these people, and they lifted him up like he's a king. You know, see, that is frightening, right there. That's frightening.
Brother, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You ain't seen nothing yet. You gonna see some things that gonna make the hair on your neck stand up, bro. Just wait, and we're gonna deal with a little bit more of that later. A little bit later. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear you not, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
And what will do that more than the truth of this word? What will do that more to set a man at variance with his house, with the various loved ones that he's known all his life? What will do that other than the word? You start speaking this word, people you've known for many years will start throwing stuff at you. And you think that the righteous, that there's a separation between the righteous and the wicked, they gonna make their separation from you. They gonna drive you out from among them. They gonna make sure that darkness and light is not in the same room. They gonna drive you out of that room.
Verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
And we prove that every time, because we end up taking the wants and desires of our mothers and fathers over the desires of Yahweh. And it gets you in some serious trouble. And some people do it for sons and daughters. Go ahead.
And he that taketh not his burdens and follow after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it. He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Right. He that gives up that earthly life that he once thought he had, you'll find out that you truly find your life in giving up all of those things. I cannot imagine what my life would be like if I was still in the way that I was before. And I thought I was living there. And I was walking dead amongst the walking dead and thought I was living. It's only that I lost that life that I found out that I'm truly living now. Go ahead.
Verse 40. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward.
Everlasting life. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
Right. So Yahweh is watching all of those situations and circumstances that people think that they may be getting away with. Yahweh, they're not going to lose their reward. The wicked not going to lose their reward either. Hey, you've done wickedly, I got a wicked reward for you. Yeah, I got to wait for you. You ain't going to lose that. Don't worry about it. You ain't going to shake it. I got it right there with your name on it. You've done unrighteous. I got a big old pile of unrighteousness right here waiting for you. Right. You read what you saw. I got it waiting for you. Go ahead, bro.
Just like what we just read, as far as, a lot of people out there loving mother and father and loving son and daughter more. When we talk to somebody about the holidays, you see a lot of family, a lot of mother or father say, well, they doing it for their kids.
Right.
And really and truly, they're allowing even their own kids, to being caught up to be caught up in the holiday and not doing what's right, before Yah. So, that's a way I see how they can, they love their son and daughter more.
Right. You want to say, you know what? I love little Johnny so much, I'm going to lie to him. Huh? I love them so much, I'm going to keep the truth from them. Huh? This lie is so fun that I don't want to deprive them of this vainglorious lie by confusing them with this whole truth thing. What? And that's love to you? And the bottom line is, when you get right down to it, That thing is about them. It's not above. When I dealt with getting out of man's holidays and pulling away from this so-called Christmas, even though it had been clear to me for several years that that was not the Messiah's birthday. It had been clear to me that there's something wrong with that because that's not right. But I still kept in it because everybody around me was in it. I realized in coming out of that, it was a bigger cut for the grown-ups involved, not the kids. I cut out the Christmas. The kids are like, so we ain't do Christmas? No. Oh, okay. Huh? No, it was the grown-ups that was fighting and throwing biscuits and all that kind of stuff. No. That wasn't the kids. It was the grown-ups. Right. See, that thing be a grown-up thing. See, we giving them those gifts and standing there, it makes us feel good. That's for us. That ain't for them. We tear that lie. This is for the kids. No, it ain't. It's for you. Because you feel awesome when you give them. And you give your kid, man, you feel good when you give your kids something. And you see them, man, and they enjoy it. And we have just attached all of that goodness to one day, which happens to be a pagan day. See? There ain't nothing wrong with you giving your kids things throughout the year. But we put it all up, give them a bunch of things on one day, and we love that light that goes off, you know, where they enjoy receiving these things. But that is not about the kids. That's one of the biggest lies that's been told about that day, that it's about the kids. When you really, really research it and really get deep in the hearts of people, you find out, man, that it's about the grown-ups. Because I remember how I felt doing those things. And the whole thing is you can't allow the kids to get up and get the presents before you get there. Why? Because your payment is the look on their face. Why can't he just get on up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go in there? Why? Because you got to see his face. That way you lose your reward if he see that stuff without you. Go to Luke 23 and let's start at verse 1. Yeah, it took me a while to realize that was about me. I was getting more joy out of it than the kids. And once you examine that, then it'll be easier for you to step away from it. But after you examine that within yourself, then you got to wait for your better half to examine that in their self. See, we want to say that we heads of a household, but understand how that goes. That means you got to go through that first, and then you got to toil and wait for that other person to get there. See, if Yahweh led y'all at the same time, then who the head of the house then? Who the head of the house? I led both of y'all at the same time, then there ain't no head of the house. You got a two-headed monster in your house. Which one of y'all leaving? We going left. No, we going right. No, we going left. And then y'all end up hitting something. Because one going left, one going right. Then you got two heads in your house. That ain't going to work. See, we want to be heads, but don't understand what that means. That means you got to step out by yourself sometime. Go ahead.
Verse 1. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is the Mashiach, a king.
Now, basically, they were sitting up doing everything that they can. At this point, they can't figure out anything against him, so now they want to make up things against him. All right? Now, they was already coming at him with the little strange things about, is it legal for us to pay tribute unto Caesar or no? What they trying to say, look here, man, we shouldn't be paying taxes. Now, later on, you'll find what he said, really, yeah, we free. We ain't supposed to be there. But in another place, he said, look here, man, go over there and get that little money, man, give it to him, man, so that we ain't got to deal with that. Look, I didn't come here to deal with no political stuff right now. I'm going to deal with this, the spirit of this word. Go ahead and give him that money. Now, he could have said, no, no, we ain't supposed to do that. But you know how many people he would have got killed had he said, no, man, we ain't supposed to pay no taxes. I'm Yahshua, homeboy. I'm the son of Yahweh, homeboy. I ain't paying Nathaniel, homeboy. Bruh, you know how many people gonna be dead? You know how many people would have read that right there in front of the courthouse? So said Yahshua, my brother. I am not supposed to pay a thing to you, establishment. Right. Know how many dead brothers that be in the street? Right. A lot of things he said to protect us. It wasn't about him. He's like, I'm going to be all right. But I know some fools scattered amongst you. And they going to get all y'all killed. So this is the way I'm going to answer this. So sometimes, man, you got to answer a question considering the fools in the room. Not the ones who have spiritual understanding. Consider the fools. You might have to lighten your answer because you got one fool in the room. Because that one fool going to take it and he going to run all over the place with it. So you got to give that one answer while the fools are there. Then when he leave out, man, oh, y'all come here. Let me take. Okay, now the next level of that answer that I told y'all, he go to the next level. Elder used to do it all the time. He would say one thing during class, and I'd be sitting there like, that's not what he told me at his house. Now, you can be stupid if you want to and raise your hand and decide that you going to give that next level of answer in the room with that fool. And Elder will cut you at your knees and you'd be like, ah! What happened? He didn't want you to give that level of answer while that fool was in the room. And I found that out as I then go back into his study afterwards. And then he'll look around at the brothers that's sitting there. And then he'll go to that level of where he went when I was at his house by himself. But it will only be in front of certain brothers. And I said, look at that. So there's a thing of a answer, and then there's another level of that answer. You'll find out that the answer upon the same question can grow upon your understanding of that particular thing. See? So I learned why certain people were getting cut. Because they decided they were going to get them some glory amongst the congregation, and they were going to go and answer on the next level. And he didn't want that level of answer to be put out there because he knew he had some fools in the room. He knew he had some people that would just try something stupid. Yahshua do the same thing. He's like, no. I know I got some fools in here. Go ahead, brother.
I agree that, Yahshua protecting you from yourself. Also, when he talked about, before when he said, render with his Caesar with his Caesar and render with his God with his gods. Mm-hmm. Trying to tell people also is that you're not supposed to love the things of this world because people are real hardcore pressed on their money.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to their money, they can actually, as you say, act a fool. Mm-hmm. So I can understand when you said he cut it off at the knees right then and there, and let's go on and do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. Pay the people for that because you don't have the higher understanding for me to get down with you and talk to you about this.
That higher understanding is what stops man. This is why it says that he spoke to them in parables because it wasn't given unto them to understand. So he knew that there was only a certain amount of understanding that they could achieve anyway. Right.
Yeah, the money was engraved in image. It got Caesar's face engraved in it. Give it to them. It belonged to Caesar. That ain't yours.
Right.
You a Jew. Give it to them. Mm-hmm. We in captivity, so we got to use whatever they force us to use or we don't eat. Right. But that don't belong to you. Give it to them.
Right. And that's why he said, look at it. Who's superscription on it? Okay, we'll give it to him. That's his, man. He don't got his face on it? Well, that's his. I ain't see your face on it. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Pilate asked him, saying, Are you the king of the Jews? And he answered him and said, You sayest it.
Mm-hmm. He said how he answering question. Go ahead.
Then said Pilate to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man. And they were the more fierce, saying, He stirreth up the people, teaching throughout all Jewry, beginning from Galilee to this place. When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged unto Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself also was at Jerusalem at that time.
Boy, he saw a way to get rid of that problem. Wait a minute, you said Galilean. Oh, so he ain't from? Oh, so that's Herod jurisdiction. Send him to Herod, boy, and wash my hands of this man here. Right, he's trying to get that off. Like, get this off my hand, boy. I am done. Boy, I'm so glad y'all said that because I was going to be stuck with this thing. He said, look, man, I don't see no problem with this man. Understanding that these are priests that's trying to kill these people speaking righteous. You keep thinking that you separated from this situation. Oh, what you got? You think, oh, you're going to earn this one? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And when Herod saw Yahshua, he was exceeding glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him.
Yeah, sing us one of your songs of Zion, you know, in captivity and everything. Won't y'all get down about that little freedom and stuff y'all be singing? I love to hear captive sing freedom. Oh, man, that tickles my fancy. Right. Go ahead.
Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and the scribes stood and vehemently accused him.
Mm-hmm.
And Herod with his men of war set him at naught, and mocked him, and arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him again to Pilate. And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were at enmity between themselves.
So now they gathered together in unrighteousness. And we was adversaries before, but now I have gained me a new friend because of, you know, this bad situation here. Now the situation done found it back in Pilate's hand. He's trying his best to dump that problem off. He was not trying to deal with that problem. And it threw old Herod off because he's saying all these things, man, the man just sitting there. And see, this is something brothers need to learn. When they said you had a right to remain silent, hey, they didn't have to read him his right. You said people just coming at him all kind of way, accusing him of everything. Now, if that would have been Jake would have said a cajillion words. Right. That's what you learn looking at that TV when they be doing the first 48 and all that kind of stuff. Half of the stuff that convict Jake be Jake mouth. What happened? Well, okay, I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay, where it happened was, right. Then all the evidence they got came from Jake's own mouth. Then they turn around, well, by your own admission, such and such, such. I would like to change that. No, too late, brother, too late. See, you had the right to shut your mouth, but instead, you start talking. Now, your own admission has got this, and this. Now, we're moving forward with the prosecution because of your mouth. Jake need to learn how to shut up. Yahshua sitting there, everybody accusing him. He's like, ain't said a thing. We can learn a lot from that. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, You have brought this man unto me, as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I have examined him before you, have found no fault in this man, touching those things whereof you accuse him.
Mm-hmm.
No, nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him and release him.
Right. Now, what was he even going to chastise him for? I found nothing wrong. But being that y'all are, bunch of people set on murder, I'm going to try to appease you by just whooping him a little bit and sending him out. Look, consider yourself as being into it. It said, if they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall his servants be considered? Now, put yourself in this place of these things that I'm reading. Stop reading this about Yahshua. Yahshua done already dealt with what he dealt with. Put yourself. You are the person that they keep passing around right now. All right? Now read.
For of necessity he must release one unto them at the feast.
Mm-hmm.
And they cried out all at once, saying, Away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas.
Right. Give us the murderer. Let this dude kill this dude, but release the murderer. Go ahead.
Who for a certain sedition made in the city, and for murder was cast into prison. Pilate therefore, willing to release Yahshua, spake again to them. But they cried, saying, Crucify him, crucify him.
Right. See, the priests have now led the people to do the same thing. The people agreed by not disagreeing. See? There are many people that stand among the congregation and just watch as evil is done. You have done that same evil because you didn't open your mouth to stop none of it. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And he said unto them the third time, Why? What evil hath he done? I have found no cause of death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to touch out one point. You see, he actually gave them 3 opportunities.
Right. 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 They continue continually witnessed against him. Continually witnessed against him. He's giving them opportunities to back up from it. There's nothing wrong with this man. I ain't seen nothing wrong with this man. I haven't seen anything done by this man. Why are y'all trying to get him to be killed? Right. Go ahead.
I just wanted to comment, the question that, every Christian and every Hebrew Israelite say, if I was there, I wouldn't have persecuted the Mashiach.
Right.
But them brothers back then, look at Cephas. Their life was on the line.
Right.
They're saying they knew him, and even Cephas was like, I don't know that dude. Three times.
Right.
We here now with our lives not on the line, being persecuted by friendship, by promotions, by worldly things, and we deny the Mashiach.
Right.
So what you think you was gonna do when your life was on the line? You denying him outside of the kingdom, outside of your land, in a land where you have freedom to say whatever you want, wickedness or not, and you denying him here.
Right.
But think you gonna be back there and you ain't gonna be the one?
Right.
And think you gonna stand by Yahshua when this tribulation comes? You want to stand by him now when you facing the baby tribulations. You're not fit for the kingdom. Period.
And Yahweh's got to prove that to man's heart. See? Because man think it's an unjustified thing that he's not chosen at that water hole to go down and fight. So Yahweh got to show him, let me show you why I didn't choose you. See? So man is going to have to be shown without the shadow of a doubt, let me show you what's in your heart. See? Because they said, yeah, man, if I was there, I wouldn't have done those things. And he said that very same thing to the Pharisees. He's, man, you are the people that kill the prophets. You are of those people. Right. And our people do the same thing. You want to see whether or not you're standing in front of an Antichrist? Pick out any of this wording in red and say it to somebody. And when they go, there you go. There go your Antichrist right there. Because they are completely against the words that Christ said. Had it happened to me just this week. I was just sitting there messing with Eliel. I was like, yeah, when a old evil dude came up against Eliel and was just came out on Eli. I'm telling you, he came out of a bag on Eliel. I'm sitting there laughing. Hey, I be doggone 2 days later, it didn't happen to me. I said, that's what I get for messing around with Eliel. I mess around. Brother had said something about forgiveness. I turned around and mentioned what Christ said about forgiveness. Man, the brother jumped out of a bag on me. Well, how you know? I don't want to hear that, and ran out the door. I said, what? It broke my heart. I said, man, this brother ain't angry with me. He angry with Christ. Then I thought about what I was sitting there laughing at Eliel. I said, that's what I get. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 23. And they were instant with loud voices requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices of them and of the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they required. And he released unto them him that for sedition and murder was cast into prison, whom they had desired, but he delivered Yahshua to their will.
Right. They released a murderer, but crucified the true manna from heaven. Consider this. This is your people, Israel. This is the mindset of your people. So understand what we have to be prepared for. You're not just reading these things so you can hear some good stuff. Half of our persecution going to come from people who look just like you. They got kufis on. They got dresses and head wrap. And they screaming, away with him! Right. You keep thinking it's going to be Christians who's going to try to kill you. No. It's going to be them Hebrew naturalites. Right. Let's go to John chapter 8 and start at verse 30. They're always dealing with something natural. Every time you turn around, they got something natural coming out of their mouth. They can't deal with any spiritual aspect of this word. Everything has got that natural connotation. That's all they can deal with. They don't know nothing else. So they can't deal with nothing else. John chapter 8 and verse 30.
Verse 30. As he spake these words, many believed on him. Then said Yahshua to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed.
If you continue in my word. But we know that they got totally off the word as far as what was set up under the Gentiles in the Christian church. They are not continuing in the word. They are not disciples. But they got fancy names. They call themselves apostle, bishop, and doctor this and doctor that. They are not his disciples. Go ahead.
And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Yeah, the truth will make you free from a whole lot of friends. Speak that truth and see how many friends leave. That's what the truth don't get you. It's going to get you free of friends. Go ahead.
Verse 33. They answered him, We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How saith you, you shall be made free?
Now this sounds just like a Jew. This sounds just like our people. When them folk went to mentioning one of them teachers gave a slavery problem, black people went, they acted a plumb fool. We don't want to hear nothing about no slavery. Man, our people were servants for 430 years up on it. He said, we be Abraham's seed and was never in bondage under any man. That lies and propaganda. Where you get that from? Who has tricked you into believing that you have never been in bondage? What caused you to let that come out of your mouth? Because we want to forget that. Right. You know how many educated kids don't know nothing about slavery? Because we have opted out of talking about that because it's a moment of weakness in our history and we can't explain it in natural terms. So we don't want to explain to our kids that somebody was able to rule over us. Somebody was able to rule over us because Yahweh took our power. That's why they were able to rule over us. But instead of us being able to explain that, we just want to get away from it. We don't want to mention nothing about it. It's like we got beat up on the playground. Don't mention that time me and James got to fight. I don't even want to talk about it. Well, it was interesting because what he did was he punched you right. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I slipped and fell on the gravel, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Right. That's the way we did with slavery. I got beat up, and I don't want to talk about that. Right. So now we got a whole generation of dumb kids who don't know their history because of our insecurities. Not even theirs. Those are our insecurities. That ain't them kids' insecurity. That was their parents' insecurities. So now they got to deal with holy days because of our own joy that we want to get out of giving them these gifts and say that this pagan god slid down the chimney and gave to them. Now they got to deal with our insecurities and we won't even teach them their past because of our own insecurities. Right. So you start to notice that a lot of things that happen to the kids got something to do with the grown-ups. Right. Go ahead, Mother.
My grandfather, this when he passed, he's about 90 years old. And for some reason during that time, it seemed like he had clarity. And I was in the room and I was saying, well, Granddad, because they really don't know our family. He started telling me things about slavery, right? Mm-hmm. He was telling me that his mother and that he came up from he came through the emancipation. Mm-hmm. So when he was getting ready to really get into it, my aunt came in, leave Daddy alone. Just leave him alone. She snatched me out of the room. Right. And I never caught him in that loose, in that clarity again. And I always, I always wish for that time because I found out that our family was very short, came from a very old family. Most of them, they died off. But he was in that lucid morning, it was getting ready to tell me.
Mm-hmm. And what happened was one of them demons jumped in your folks and came in and divided that situation. That's what, a lot of times we'll even hear contradicting statements from people and we say, man, the person just said this thing and then later on they said something else. And you said, man, that was contradicting. No, that was a different demon. See, they don't deal with the word, so them demons have access to enter into them and speak at any given time. So that demon just jump up, say what it's got to say. That was that demon. That was not your aunt. That demon had access to her body. That demon jumped in her, split up that situation. She does not need to hear this truth. That demon just used that body to do that. See, it was the same thing that happened with Judas Iscariot when it says, and he came to himself. So what that mean? The demon left. Then he understood what he did. When Yahshua was casting that demon out of that man, and he said, what is your name? It was too many of them to say a name. You consider that you got so many demons that they got a collective name. All right? He said, what's your name? Our name Legion, for we are many. What? That's like, if you got 5 demons on the corner, that's just 5 demons on the corner. And you know what I'm saying? They all got various names. But consider that when you get to 20 or 30 demons, now they saying, well, you know, we need to be recognized as a group of demons. So what we going to call ourselves? Right. So now you got a gang of demons. Now they need a name for this little demonic union that they got. He had so many demons in him that they had to create a collective name for those demons. Well, think about how confusing it would be to talk to a person that has that many demons. See, you keep thinking that the conversation jumping, them different demons that, oh, let me talk. No. Let me say something. Each one of them demons is saying something. And the conversation just look like it's going crazy to you. Right. Because each one of them demons got something to say. That demon led you off of that. It saw that you were finna be given some truth. And it was so funny because this brother just came in here talking about a situation. And as he was talking to somebody, all of a sudden, he gets a call where his job tries to separate him and the brother from talking. A demon. Right. That's what happens. That demon comes in. You think you just got a phone call and the phone call came out of nowhere. No. That demon was on the call him right now. Call now. No, somebody finna get the truth. Call. Right.
I got a book, and I don't remember the title. I remember the book was blue. It said some Negroes and saw the slaves on it. And all of a sudden, she happened to come in the house. I would have been rambling in her drawer. She saw that book, she laid, you don't need to know nothing about it. Get out of my drawer. I mean, she just went off, you know, so that generation would never tell you anything.
Right. They want to let that die off. They don't want to deal with that. They want to let that die off. Go ahead, bro.
It's funny how I was brought up because they don't want to let you know nothing about your back history. You know, because they're ashamed of it. They want that to pass, right? But yet, the Ashkenazis and so forth, they want to throw in your face about they few you little years of being in Auschwitz and so forth in Germany under the oppression of Hitler. You know, but they want to throw in your face stuff like that. We went through all this kind of stuff, so we must be the Jews, okay? You understand? But when it comes to our knowledge and so forth, even they have Black African Week or something like that a month, but they don't tell you hardly nothing in that. You know what I mean? So our children don't know nothing about what's going on in their past. So how will they have something to walk on to know where to go? Because they don't even know where to come from.
But that's the design. That's by design, brother. Go ahead, bro.
I just want to add to all that, you know, as we can see, this just didn't start with this generation that we know about. It was going on from then, because we can see it in verse 33, from back then where our people was trying to forget what they had been through. So it didn't just start with our great-grandparents.
Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 34, Yahshua answered them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin.
And you cannot have sin without law. Go ahead.
And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you.
Right. And this is the same thing that they're going to want to do to you. They're going to want to kill you because Yahweh's word has no place in them. And you have to learn to recognize spirits, not people. Just because it's a person in front of you with a kufi, don't mean that they ain't there to kill you. Go ahead.
I speak that which I have seen with my father, and you do that which you have seen with your father.
So who is he saying is your father? The adversary, the devil. Keep in mind, he's talking to priests, the so-called powerful people of the land. He's saying, yeah, I know you're a priest and you're in control of this temple. Your father is the adversary, the devil. I don't care what garment you got on to say you a priest. Your daddy is Lucifer. Satan is your daddy. Go ahead.
Verse 39. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahshua said to them, If you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham.
That's how you know whose child you are, by whose deeds you obey. If you are the children of Abraham, then you would do the works of Abraham. Since you doing the works of Satan, Your daddy is Satan. Go ahead.
But now you seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of Elohim. This did not Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
You do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, We be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even Elohim. Yahshua said unto them, If Elohim were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and come from Elohim. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me.
Yeah, but yet when you hear people saying thank you for something, they don't thank the Father, they thank Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Right. See, they don't even deal with the Father. See? He said, all this stuff is not of me. I am following my instructions. I am doing the things that I was told to do. Yet every time something happened for somebody, they say, oh, thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who are you thinking? Right. Go ahead.
Verse 43. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word?
Mm-hmm.
You are of your father the devil,
Right.
and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him.
Mm-hmm.
When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Right. He invented lying. He told the first one. They're like, what is that? I don't know. Then we'll call it a lie. Go ahead, brother.
Just going back to that verse 44, it said that he was a murderer from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that doctrine going around that Lucifer was a good guy, and he's just misunderstood, and it usually comes by via the jail cell. You'll hear that doctrine.
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad in the beginning because Yahweh wouldn't create bad. Yahweh created him for a job that he had to do. And right there show you, right then and there, he was a murderer from the beginning. So he didn't have a shot from the beginning.
See, it wasn't shown immediately. So people think that it was a certain thing. Remember now, there were two lights. There was a great light to rule over the day, and there was a lesser light to rule over the night. So there had to be a lesser light that was going to rule over the children of darkness. It just wasn't manifested immediately. Go ahead.
And just to also touch on it, you think about it, the first lie was what he told Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So he was lying from the get-go.
You wasn't going to surely die. Right. And he didn't tell that in that form. He did what? Enter into another vessel and cause that vessel to lie. But he was the one that told a lie. But the vessel was just the one that was standing there. And what did he do? Yahweh punished every vessel that allowed itself to be used by them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, you let Lucifer use your body? Punishing you too. Women supposed to be able to pop a baby out and go play basketball. All animals do it. They drop one bam. Baby just get out and just stagger and they be all right. Let's go. We're going to go and chew on some of this grass. Right. Right. That came forth by Eve allowing herself to be perverted by Satan. That's what that is. And that is still here. People want to say, oh, that's old time. Don't it still hurt? Well, there it is then. Go ahead, Mom.
It was a real penalty there because it said not only would it multiply her sorrow, but it would multiply her sorrow in conception as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was real serious, real deep.
Mm-hmm. And that is still here to this day. So it lets you know when Yahweh pronounces something, he pronounces it. So you might want to stop whatever that is you're doing when he gives you warning, because once he puts that thing on you, woo, woo, it's going to be something to get that thing up off you. Go ahead.
Verse 45. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not? Which of you conceiveth me of sin? Convinceth me of sin. And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of Elohim heareth Elohim's words. You therefore hear them not, because you are not of Elohim.
Right. So understand why they can't hear you. Go ahead.
Then answered the Jews and said unto him, Say we not well that you art a Samaritan, and was a devil, and has a devil? Yahshua answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and you do dishonor me. And I seek not my own glory, there is one that seeketh and judgeth. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Then said the Jews unto him, Now we know that you has a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, And you saith, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste of death.
Now he already knew that they were carnal. Now why he gonna throw that out there? He already knew that they were carnal, and then he gonna turn around and put out something. Oh yeah, y'all having a problem with that? Well, let me give you this then. Blam! I knew you gonna have a problem with that. Right? Right. He knew they were gonna have a problem with that. He already saw the limitations in their mind. So then he dropped something spiritually heavier than what he was already talking about. Right. He said, oh, you choking on that? Well, I'm really gonna choke you with this one. Go ahead.
Verse 53. Are you greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Who maketh you yourself? Yahshua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom you say that he is your Elohim. Yet you have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him, and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it, and was glad.
Now this is some pretty bold stuff to be saying to the people that's supposed to be in charge now. You know? Go ahead.
Then said the Jews unto him, you are not yet 50 years old, and has you seen Abraham?
Ah, now see, this was an underlying cut right here. You ain't no elder. You ain't yet 50 years old. They wasn't just saying it. See, people who don't know the culture of the Jews don't understand what was being said. See, this was an uppercut. See? You ain't no elder. Why you even talking? When you see these hoary heads in the room, sit down. Right? So they were making a statement here, man. This wasn't just what it sounded like on the surface. They are accusing this man, you are not an elder. Why are you talking to us? Go ahead.
Verse 58. Yahshua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am.
Man, I'm older than all y'all. But you ain't got sense enough to realize who you talking to. Go ahead.
Then took they up stones to cast at him. But Yahshua hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by.
This is the same thing they gonna do to you. They looking for stones to cast at you right now. They probably got a little sack putting rocks in it. This for Esau, this for Kish, and this for that Jadon. I got to get one that'll curve because he look like he fast. And right. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they got automatic throwing stores. You know what I'm talking about? So they can throw at least 5 stones at one time. You know, what is this? Yeah, this is my brand new automatic stone throw. See, before you had to throw them just one at a time. See, this one right here, you put it back and it shoot out 5 stones. You know what I'm talking about? What? Right. That way I can do more devilment with each throw. Right. So they get together, get them a nice little congregation of evildoers, and put forth that work. Understand? We are not going to be separated from all these things. Because, understand, it's still going to be less than what is going on out there. But Yahweh still have to prove who is going to serve him in righteousness. He still got to prove that. So that's that part of that sword from within and that terror from without, having to go from all of those things. Because Yahweh still have to prove what is his, and he still got to make that judgment happen out there. So all of that has got to happen. Let's go to John chapter 16. And part of the reason why we can't deal with the things that we're supposed to deal with is because, and my computer people will understand this much easier, you know, when you put a program on a hard drive and it's got a some kind of computing mechanism, it's going to ask you within there, when it comes to this particular action, how much CPU power do you want to go to solving this problem? Our problem is, because of life, we have 15% CPU power on spiritual things. So our brain don't work that hard on that. Oh, that's Sabbath day or Sunday. I don't know. I just leave it alone. 15% ain't enough to figure it out. See? But you got to go back in there and adjust your settings and say, you know what? I want 90% of my CPU power to go toward figuring out these spiritual things. Now your brain works harder at figuring them things out. See, we don't have enough CPU power dedicated to working on spiritual things. And I can tell that my settings have changed because they're in the business I'm in. I've been in it almost 20 years. Now I look up and I have questions myself about things. And I'm like, man, you've been doing this for 20 years. What you questioning for? My CPU settings done changed. See, it used to be 85% on that mess. And I switched that and put 85, 90% on Yahweh's word. Now, computing these things happens easier to me now. But then I get to work sometime and I'll be standing there looking at something for about 10 minutes. And a little dude that's been doing it a year and a half be like, what you standing there for? Just do this right here. I was like, appreciate that, brother. I've been looking at that for 15 minutes trying to figure that out. He's like, you the one showed me that. I know that, but that was when I had different settings. You know what I'm saying? I had different settings, brother. You know what I'm saying? My settings different now. I can't really figure that out like I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But I can figure this out. That same brother, he called me, asked me a biblical question. I'd be like, he'd be like, how did you know that? Settings, brother. It's the settings. Right. Go ahead, brother.
I'm glad you said that because as we went through that portion of that chapter right there, you can see he dealt with them much more differently and deeper and rougher because they were elders and they were supposed to know the word. Mm-hmm. And they, trying to catch him and try to mess him up. Yeah. Yet he got so deep on them. I'm like, you talking about throwing rocks. They got a whole lot, if these guys don't change, they got a whole hell of a lot of rocks going to fall on them.
Oh, yeah.
Whole lot.
You got it. But hey, let it be done as it is written. It's got to happen. John 16 and verse 1 through 14.
Verse 1. These things I have spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yes, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth Elohim service.
Right. We did Yahweh a favor by killing off them evildoers. They're going to throw you out of the synagogue. Right. They said, we're doing Yahweh a favor. Go ahead.
And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me.
Wait a minute, but they the priest, though. They in charge of the congregation. How could they be in charge of the congregation if they don't know Yahweh? Go ahead.
But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them. Mm-hmm. And these things I say not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you ask me, whither goeth you? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. Mm-hmm. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment.
Now, it was during that time when our elder was getting sick and passing on, we, just like he said, I go away, but I must go away that I may send the Comforter unto you. There was a lot of things that were revealed in the passing of our teacher. We didn't want our teacher to go because, we loved him. We had never seen anybody that knew the word like that. We had learned so much, but there was a lot of people that were amongst us that we had no idea that they didn't love Yahweh or the word or us for that matter. But that was not manifested until he passed away. And when he passed away, all of a sudden all these swords come out. Hey, brother, how you doing? What you been doing with that? All of a sudden, people are pulling out swords. And you're like, oh, man, it's finna be a fight in here? Oh, man, we finna kill somebody? Oh, the we is me? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and you see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Verse 12. I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Mm-hmm. Howbeit when he, the Spirit of the truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. Mm-hmm. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things.
That's far as I want to go on that, brother. But what it shows is that You don't have to separate yourself from evil. Those evildoers are going to separate themselves from you. They are going to separate themselves from you. They're either going to leave out of the room or drive you out of the room, one way or another. That light and darkness cannot coexist together. That's why people got to send you little emails and stuff like that. They can't be in your presence like that. See? They're going to be convicted by being in your presence. So they got to send little emails to talk to you because they can't talk to you face to face. See? That repelling action of light and darkness is going to drive one of them the other way. You can't even get a magnet and put it right on top of each other. It's going to keep doing this every time. Right. Right. That's why they got to stay way over there and send an email. Right. Let's go to Luke chapter 17. And we just reading verse 1 through 4 on this right here. Luke chapter 17, verses 1 through 4. And on some sermons, it's just a lot more reading out of the New Testament than the Old Testament sometimes. But it's good to really deal with it because the more things you can prove out of that New Testament. See, people think that we have this different doctrine because we read the Old Testament. You need to learn how to cut them up and stay in the side of the book that they say they deal with. So you deal with which side of the book? You deal with the front or the back or you deal with the whole book? Oh, I just deal with, I don't deal with that bondage. Oh, okay, so this bondage to you right here in the back. So you just deal with this part right here? Oh, okay, well let me cut you up from this part. Right. So you stay in that part of the book and you can tie them up. And they be like, I didn't know that was in there. Sure you did. I know you did. Because it wasn't given unto you to understand what was in this book. See? Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples, It is impossible, but that offenses will come. But woe unto him through whom they come.
Right. Woe unto you who allow the demons to use you. Go ahead.
It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. Verse 3. Take heed to yourselves. If your brother trespass against you, rebuke him, and if he repent, forgive him.
Right. If he repent, forgive him. This is what caused the brother to bubble up like some kind of holy water was thrown on him in one of them little movies or whatever. Because I had a brother speaking about, this what somebody had told him about forgiveness. This was so-called a Methodist preacher. I then stated what Yahshua said about forgiveness. He had a problem and marked me the enemy. Now, do you see how he magnified the words of the Methodist preacher over the words of Yahshua? See, you got to pick and choose who you going to deal with. See, the words of the Methodist preacher was higher in validity to him than Yahshua's word. But yet, when the Methodist preacher said it, he had one of his books open. But he wasn't talking out of this book. He just had it open. He wasn't reading out of it. He just had it open up there. And people think that because the book is open, that the stuff that's coming out of that person's mouth came out of that book. That's a lie. You have to learn that trick. People will pull up a piece of paper, and you got to learn that trick even at your jobs. They'll say, well, according to the rules on doing such and such, it says that you cannot obtain this and this and thus and thus and thus and thus, and that's section 4, subsection A. Oh yeah, let me see that. Well, I ain't got another copy. I ain't got a no. Let me read section 4, subsection A, where you said, "Thus saith the handbook." Let me see. Well, I ain't got. Well, you got to call somebody else to get you a copy. No. You reading it, right? Let me get your copy. Let me just see what it says. Right. See, they got directions to their child party right there in front of you, telling you this, that. Right. But see, they didn't think you were going to be intelligent enough to say, let me see the guidelines then. I ain't, you have to get another copy. That ain't the guidelines you got in front of you, is it? Huh? Right. You sitting there reading an invitation to your child's birthday party, telling me it's the guideline. Yeah, but you won't know that if you don't push the issue. See? Right. And because our people are not reading, they don't know that this stuff ain't coming out of the book. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And if he trespass against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day turn again to you, saying, I repent, you shall forgive him.
Right. If he says, I repent. But see, we allow people who have them demonic spirits in them to cause us to go away from Yahweh's word. I actually had a acquaintance say, you know, we need to pray for Eddie Long. You pray for Eddie Long. What are we going to do that for? We need to pray. See, that's how them demons will use that person to get into you. See, it'll be somebody that you care about that will ask you to do something that will make your prayer sin. See, that's the second time I had a situation happen to me. Excuse me, like that. I had a mother to ask me to pray for a wicked elder priest. And I didn't understand what was going on. I just kind of looked. You know, even gave me a story. Well, you know, in Job's time, Job didn't get back the stuff that was taken from him until he had prayed for those people. Come to figure out, this mother was on the evil side of the brother, but trying to get me to pray for the evil brother who was doing evil things against me and my family. That was a demon that used her. I said, look at here. But see, I would have been looking at, you know, this is a mother. She's been in the word for 20 plus years. You know, she looks so innocent. Oh, the demon loved them houses. Oh, he loved them. Oh, look at that. That's an innocent looking house. I can't wait to get in that house right there. Right. Go to Ezekiel chapter 11. But see, people will use these things against you and tell you that because you just won't openly forgive somebody without repenting, that you don't have love. You don't, see, I see you don't have no love in you. Why? Because I follow what the word say. It says, if your brother sinned against you, rebuke him. They want to jump to forgiveness. If your brother sinned against you, rebuke him. If he repent, second step, then forgive him. They want to skip 2 steps and jump to the forgiveness. Right? Because we that supersized salvation generation. You know, let's just jump to the happy part. This is why people have so many problems with relationships. They don't get to know no person. They don't know nothing about them. Let's just jump to the bedroom section. Let's skip all this part right here. And let's just get to the bedroom fun time. Let's get to the bedroom fun time. So they have bedroom fun time for about a month or so. And then they say, you know what? I can't stand you. What? Yeah, I can't stand you at all. Well, now what we're going to do? Because we done already did a bedroom fun time action. Right. Now, you done had bedroom fun time action with somebody. Now you decide you can't stand them. You couldn't stand them, but you sure laid them down. Right. Right. Now you got situations and circumstances that you got to work through. Right. Skipping. See, it's that same mentality that Lucifer teaches us. Jump past these 2 steps and get to the end step. Right. You're going to have problems. Stop trying to skip steps. You go ahead. Try to be, I'm going to skip this. Yeah, you're going to skip it right now, but you're going to deal with them problems later. They're going to show back up. You can believe that. Go ahead, brother.
Ezekiel chapter 11 and verse 1. Moreover, the Spirit lifted me up and brought me unto the east gate of Yahweh's house, which looketh eastward. And behold, at the door of the gate 25 men, among whom I saw Yezaniah the son of Azar, and Pelathiah the son of Benaiah, princes of the people. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief, and give wicked counsel in this city.
Right. Princes of the people. Go ahead.
Which say, It is not near, let us build houses. This city is the cauldron, and we be the flesh.
Ain't nothing gonna happen to this house. Even though wickedness has happened in this house, ain't nothing gonna happen to this house. We got the Spirit. The Spirit lies here. Anybody that leaves here don't have the Spirit. The Spirit is here. Ain't nothing gonna happen to this house. See, you can do evil so long that Yahweh won't let you repent of it. See? Pharaoh had done evil so long that when he got ready to repent, Yahweh said, he hardened his heart again. See, I used to wonder, wait a minute, why would he have this visitation upon Pharaoh and then not allow him to repent? He had done it so long, he wouldn't let him repent. No. Because first of all, to repent, you must have a godly felt sorrow for the things that you have done. He didn't have no godly felt sorrow for it. Matter of fact, he tried to trick him. He said, well, who gonna go sacrifice unto Yahweh? Us, our wives, and our children. Just take you and your son, lead the wives and children here. He was trying to force them that they would have to come back. So he didn't have any true repentance. He was just like, look, man, I'm tired of all these damn flies. All right, man, I'll let you do what you got. Just take these flies with you. Then he's like, all right, look, okay, I repent. Just get rid of these frogs. Okay, I repent, man. It was all this dead stuff. It's stinking here, man. It stink. What is this stink? It's rank in here, man. Right. He didn't have a true repenting heart. He just wanted the plagues off of him. That's what people do. People fake at repenting. My leg hurt. I fell down. Esau, will you pray for me? Soon as you pray for him, they right back in the same thing. Yeah, Esau is leader. He's Satan's leader. Yeah, that's what he is. He a pimp and he ain't got nothing but hoes. But that's after you pray for him, though. See? Right. That's after you pray for him. People playing a lot of games. But Yahweh going to take care of them games. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Therefore prophesy against them. Prophesy, O son of man. And the Spirit of Yahweh fell upon me and said unto me, Speak, thus saith Yahweh, thus have you said, O house of Israel, for I know the things that come into your mind, every one of them. You have multiplied your slain in this city, and you have filled the streets thereof with the slain. Therefore thus saith Yahweh Elohim, your slain whom you have laid in the midst of it, they are the flesh, and this city is the cauldron. But I will bring you forth out of the midst of it.
And see, we don't understand what that spiritual murder is. That spiritual murder is when someone's cut off from the commonwealth of Israel without a care in the world, they are spiritually dead. And I've watched congregations kill off people, even attempt to kill off us. But our love for the word was too strong to be killed off because we were separated from a place. Okay? That place did not control our thirst for the word. But for those people who allowed that to be their only a place of feeding for the word, they are killed off. Yahweh allowed me to run into somebody. There was a situation that happened where they said, okay, we're going to stretch out the right hand of fellowship, the olive branch. All right, for people who want to keep these holy days, right? Man, sister showed up. She just happened to be the girlfriend of one of the deacons. Oh, man, they called the police on her. I ended up seeing that sister in the store. And I was like, don't look like she dealing with the word or dealing with nothing. They murdered that sister, man. They murdered that sister. She's spiritually gone. Why? Because of what they did unto her. And that was a collective agreement, and all the deacons knew about it. The elder priests knew about it. It was a collective thing that they have done. They swept that body right under the rug. So every time you walk in their sanctuary, it's a big lump up under the carpet. What's that right there? Just step over it. It's a dead body. We killed her years back. Y'all ain't gonna get this body out of here? No, we just acting like we don't see it. Shabbat shalom. What? Right. Go ahead, bro.
I just wanted to comment that on that spiritual murder. Yeshua said, all sins will be forgiven unto man, even sins against the Son of Man. But the only sin that is not forgivable is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Because that's what will murder your brother and your sister, by telling them lies and telling them that truth is a lie.
Right. What you think this was? Ain't nothing gonna come. Yahweh's judgment is not gonna come. Right. Right. And who are these? The princes of the people. You see where this evil coming from? This evil is coming from the bad leadership of Israel. So Yahweh is changing that leadership. These people that were ruling during the time of Yahshua were all the priests. Yahweh had to come through and turn the whole priesthood upside down. Say, all right, who all work in the temple here? All of them raise their hand. All right, all y'all, get the hell on. You, little fisherman, come in. You right there, yeah. Even let me get one of them old raggedy tax collectors. Come here. I don't know nobody like you. Come on over here. Right. Right. That's how he chose his priests like that. Took a whole, I'm talking a temple that it took, what it say, 46 years in building? And chose none of them. Full of priests. I ain't choose none of y'all wicked. No, let me get some dudes out there that's fishing. He's going to go outside the temple and pick who going to serve him. Rattle that one around in your cage. Go ahead, Mo.
You know, people conveniently forget the relationship between the sheep and the shepherd. I mean, the shepherd that moves the flock is always the younger one. I mean, when Moses was called to move the flock of Israel, he was 40 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
He had 70 elders that were at his back, but he wasn't an elder.
Right. But see, people don't want to deal with that, you know, because a lot of people get to a certain point in their life, in a certain age, and they get set. They don't want to go through no more changes. So to have Yahweh lead them beginning at that point is a bad situation. You know, my elder told me straight up, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. He said, "Sock, I didn't start being a priest when I was 50. I was like, what are you talking about? And we weren't even talking about that. We was looking at the TV. But I'm trying to tell you something, Sock. Okay. I started being a priest when I was in my late 30s. Okay. He said, when I became 50, then I became the elder priest. Okay. And we started by watching TV. And I'm like, what in the world did that, what I just had to grab that and put it in this little shelf. At some point, that's going to make some sense. Later on, when I saw all them swords coming out and I was trying to figure out who y'all finna kill, then I realized, oh, let me get that off that shelf. Now I see what that was for. Right. Now I knew where to put that. Go ahead, bro.
Now, I just want to touch on the point when you said, you know, none of the priests in the temple was chosen, and people would want to wonder, how do you know they were all wicked? The simple fact they were still priests in the church. Because if they weren't wicked, they would have stood up against the establishment and got kicked out.
There you go. There you go. They would have got kicked out because they said, this is unrighteousness. And every last one of them that started speaking out, something happened to them. When Saul spoke out, he couldn't go amongst them people no more. See? Every time he went, it was some dastardly things waiting for him. Right. You couldn't go in there no more if you were not going to call wickedness righteous and call the righteous wicked. You couldn't go amongst them no more. Go ahead.
Verse 8. You have feared the sword, and I will bring a sword upon you, saith Yahweh Elohim. And I will bring you out of the midst thereof, and deliver you into the hands of strangers. I will execute judgments among you. You shall fall by the sword. I will judge you in the border of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. This city shall not be your cauldron, neither shall you be the flesh in the midst thereof. But I will judge you in the border of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall know that I am Yahweh, for you have not walked in my statutes, neither executed my judgments, but have done after the manners of the heathen that are round about you. And it came to pass when I prophesied that Peleath, the son of Benaias, died. Then fell I down upon my face, and cried with a loud voice, and said, Ah, Adonai Elohim, will you make a full end of the remnant of Israel? Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, your brethren, even your brethren, the men of your kindred, and all the house of Israel, holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, Get you far from Yahweh. Unto us is the land given in possession.
Right. They've gotten far away from Yahweh in their words and deeds. See? That is how they say, get you far from Yahweh, man. Stop dealing with this word like that. Go ahead.
Therefore say, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
Right. Yahweh have little sanctuaries where he can allow the people that seek after righteousness to serve him in peace. That's why certain parts have to be driven away, because Yahweh said, it says, have peace among all men as much as possible. There's some people you can't have peace with. No matter what you do, They always up in your face about something. They always up in your face about something. Every time you turn around, they up in your face. And I'm talking about trivial things. You know? Jake want to fight you about how you make rice. You ain't never made rice right. What? Go ahead, man.
I'm just going back to that verse 16. That busts up. It's the word that was written already that says in all your dwellings to keep these holy days. If that word right there didn't bust it up in the Old Testament, you come right here to the New Testament where he said Yahweh allowed a place of sanctuary, sanctified.
Right.
A place to be sanctified for you to be holy unto Yahweh in all your countries. So that bust up that whole, you gotta be in Israel to keep the holy days.
Right.
If the word, the law when it was written, word for word didn't clear it up for you, you can go get the confirmation in the New Testament telling you that he created this sanctified area for you.
Right. Right. I have little sanctuaries. I will be to them a little sanctuary. People don't understand that. We want to keep Yahweh's law if we in some big vainglorious building that's got Yahweh on the front door. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Therefore say, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Now why ain't say I'm going to take you out of them countries and I'm going to bring you into heaven? Well, they said Whitney Houston in heaven. Never mind anything or whatever. The drunken parties, the whatever she was, it don't matter. She in heaven right now. And she probably got some Xanax with her right now in heaven, according to them. Right. He says, I'm going to bring you out and put you in Israel. I don't even believe she believed that. Because Jadon had put on his Facebook the video where they went to Israel. She's sitting up in a Hebrew garb, and Bobby is too, with a kufi on his head, getting baptized in Jerusalem. They didn't believe this heaven, but see, Mama is Christian. Mama over this funeral. So they finna have a good old-fashioned Christian burial. But I don't think that's what that girl believed. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from thence. And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and will give them an heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes, and keep mine ordinances, and do them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. But as for them whose heart walketh after the heart of their detestable things and their abominations, I will recompense their way upon their own heads, saith Yahweh Elohim. Verse 22. Then did the cherubims lift up their wings, and the wheels beside them, and the glory of Elohim of Israel was over them above. And the glory of Yahweh went up from the midst of the city, and stood upon the mountain which is on the east side of the city. Afterwards the Spirit took me up, and brought me in a vision by the Spirit of Elohim into Chaldea, to them of the captivity. So the vision that I had seen went up from me, when I spake unto them of the captivity all the things that Yahweh had showed me.
All right, let's. I want to go to Proverbs 24, and we're just going to read 2 verses out of there. Proverbs chapter 24, and we're going to start at verse 10. You know, it's very difficult. You know, you have a lot of people. You know, since even saying something about Whitney Houston, there were a lot of people that truly, I mean, she was able to do some really great things in music, and you know, she was really beloved of the people. But whenever you get somebody that people care about, they automatically want to tell you, you know, that that person is in heaven. According to some person on the earth, every person is in heaven. If you, all you got to do is get close enough to the family. According to every family, not one place have you gone to a funeral and they said, man, he in hell burning right now. I knew that old rotten, dirty scoundrel. Matter of fact, he owe me money. Which one y'all going to pay me the money that this sucker owe me in this box? Not one funeral you have ever gone to that they didn't say that the person was in heaven. You just got to get close enough to somebody that liked him. Because whether or not he was a rotten, low-down, dirty scoundrel, there was somebody else that was rotten, low-down, and dirty who said, "This was my right-hand man. He in heaven right now. Doing rotten, low-down, dirty scoundrel stuff like we used to do right here." Right. According to, so somewhere or another, heaven is full. Because everybody believed that the person that they care about is in heaven. But that does not go according to what's in this book. It does not. Proverbs chapter 24, and we're going to read verse 10 through 12.
Verse 10. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small.
Mm-hmm.
If you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain.
Uh-huh.
If you sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not that pondereth the heart consider it?
Mm-hmm.
And he that keepeth your soul, doth not he know? Does not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
Right. See, what we don't understand is that faith is an action verb. See, people keep saying, "I got faith." You show me your faith without your works, and I'm going to show you my faith by my works. By the things that I do, I'm going to prove to you the faith that I have. People say that they have faith. We read in this book, it says that we're supposed to congregate on the Sabbath day. People say they have faith, but then still go to church on Sunday. Where's your faith? You go to church on Sunday because all the people you know go to church on Sunday. If you have faith, you would look in that book, see what it says, and then adjust your doings according to what's written in this book. You don't have faith? See, that's that good talk faith. We got that good talk faith. Right. If you have faith, you walk in this word and not care what man has to say about you. Go ahead.
They have faith, you're right, they have faith in the world. If everybody in the world is doing this, it got to be right.
It must be.
But they don't have faith in their father because that's not their father. Like you said, they the adversary of the devil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like it says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. And see, men won't allow their strength to grow because they already proclaiming that they already strong. He says that my strength is made perfect in weakness. Because you so strong that you won't admit your weakness, that's why your strength won't grow. Because you're too boastful. I'm strong. No, I'm weak, brother. See, that's when Yahweh deals with your strength and multiply that strength. But we too busy boasting of our strength, so we can't never grow in it. All of the people that have tremendous strength in this book, they felt, you can read the points where they felt so weak. They felt so bad. Everybody else saying, "Man, you are strong as all get out." And they like, "I don't see that. I see me being a weakling." Right. See? Let's go to Psalms chapter 10.
Psalms chapter 10, verse 1. Why standeth you afar, O Yahweh? Why hidest you yourself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Right.
For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorreth.
Right. They magnify themselves, and they are promoted within their evil regime. I remember a sister showing up on a Bible study one day and saying, this was when we was up under another place, and saying how wicked, you know, how much of a hypocrite her husband was and how he was a drunk. And right after that, the wicked leader said, "He is," and made him a deacon. He wanted to promote wickedness. Go ahead.
Verse 4. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Elohim. Elohim is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Your judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
Right.
His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
This is why people look away when you go through trouble, because they don't consider that the trouble is going to come to them, so they don't think that they have to speak up in establishing righteousness. So they just say, well, he must have did something wrong if they doing something to him. So they be quiet and let that evil happen to you. And they don't consider that evil is about to happen to you sooner or later. Go ahead.
Verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor.
Right. They have set little deacon meetings where they decide who gonna die that week. Go ahead.
He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, Elohim hath forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Yahweh, O Elohim. Lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contempt Elohim? He hath said in his heart, you shall not require it. Verse 14. Thou hast seen it, for you beholdeth mischief and spite. To require it with your hand, the poor committeth himself unto you. You art the helper of the fatherless. Break you the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till you find none. Yahweh is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Yahweh, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will prepare their heart. You will cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
Now let's go to Psalm chapter 17. Psalm 17.
Psalms chapter 17 and verse 1. Hear the right, O Yahweh, attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of the feigned lips. Let my sentence come forth from your presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. You have proved my heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me and shall find nothing. I am purposed that your mouth shall not transgress.
That my mouth
mouth shall not transgress.
Verse 3. You have proved mine heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me and shall find nothing. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress. These are things that we have to endure. The proving of your heart, the visitation in the night, the trying, and with the great hope that he shall find nothing perverse in that heart when he proves it. All of these things have to be done. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Concerning the works of men, by the word of your lips, I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in your paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon you, for you will hear me, O Elohim. Incline thy ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show your marvelous loving kindness, O you that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in you, from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. From the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. All right.
And that's a violence that you have to see a lion in action to understand how violent this is. This is like a lion that is greedy of his prey. Have you seen lions fight over a carcass? You should go by that little nature channel every now and then and see the kind of fights that happen over a carcass. I mean, they be going at one another. Then it says, like a lion lurking in secret places. It's just going down, getting ready to pounce on something. That is a serious, violent act right there. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is your sword, from men which are your hand, O Yahweh, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly you fillest with your hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. As for me, I will behold your face in the righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with my likeness. With your likeness.
With your likeness. He's talking about the resurrection. When I awake with your likeness, not when I go to heaven. But let's hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 56. So this is not anything new. Our people knew of this resurrection. They wasn't talking about going to heaven. He ain't said when I wake up in the clouds. Psalms 56 and verse 1.
Verse 1. Be merciful unto me, O Elohim, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppress me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me. O you, Most High.
Yes, many. The congregation of the wicked has thousands, some hundreds, some thousands. There be many that fight against me. But no matter what, we're going to continue to deal in this word. I don't care how many attacks that they attack me with. I'm going to continue putting this word out as pure as it is in this book. That's why we read so much. So you can hear this coming from Yahweh's word, not from the mouth of Esau. Don't be saying Esau said such and such. Yahweh said it. Go ahead.
Verse 3. What time I'm afraid, I will trust in you. In Elohim I will praise his word. In Elohim I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps when they wait for my soul. Shall they escape by iniquity? In thine anger cast down the people, O Elohim. You tell us my wanderings. Put you my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your book?
Right.
When I cry unto you, then shall mine enemies turn back. This I know, for Elohim is for me.
You say you got faith? You say you got faith? Show me your faith. Go ahead.
In Elohim will I praise his word. In Yahweh will I praise his word. In Elohim have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. Your vows are upon me, O Elohim. I will render praise unto you. For you have delivered my soul from death. Will not you deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before Elohim in the light of the living?
Right, that I may walk before Elohim in the light of the living. The dead have no light. You can't walk upon the land of the dead, for they walk in darkness. But to walk in the light of the land of the living is to walk among the saints in righteousness. And this is what we must persevere for, that we may see him eye to eye in that a regeneration of things, that we may not be ashamed when Yahshua returns to shake terribly the earth and set forth righteousness in that land and return his people and gather them out of those little sanctuaries that he spread all around the earth, that he may bring us back to our land. But we have to make sure that we are able to walk in righteousness in that day and time. And we have to figure those things out now. You can't be out there trying to figure out what is righteous. We have to do all of the things that we can do to figure those things out now, that we may get a true head start in walking in righteousness, because it won't be a whole lot of putting up with things going into that land. You won't get up in there and say, oh, you know what? I didn't know such and such. Right. When those people were invited to that wedding feast and the brother showed up without a wedding garment, wasn't no discussion with it. How he get in here without a wedding garment? That wedding garment was a spirit. How you get in here without the spirit? Well, didn't nobody say nothing to me about the spirit. Goodbye. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Throw them in the darkness. We have an opportunity to learn what we need to learn now. We need to do these things as much as possible. Well, that's all we're going to do for today. I pray that Yahweh add a blessing unto the hearers of his word, and I pray that he would put it upon our hearts to also be doers of this word. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.